Hi guys, Thomas here. Welcome to our neon guitar lesson. We're going to be looking at the studio version, not the live version. There's not too many lessons on the studio version, so thought it'd be a great chance to teach that one. So when you're ready, grab your guitar and let's get going. So we all know what the riff sounds like, but for reference, we're starting with that and it's going to sound like this. Okay, so first things first, we're in a drop C tuning, right? This low string's got to go all the way down to C. In fact, I could go up a little bit down to C. Okay, the rest of it's standard, but this low string's C. That's really important. I'm not going to throw all our chord shapes out, but it's going to give us access to some really cool sounding chords, which we're going to get to use here. So we've got this weird technique. Now, disclaimer, John does this kind of with 2 fingers. It's like a sort of weird technique that's unique to him. But I've taught people to use these fingers. So I'm actually going to show you how to do it with these fingers. It's going to be the exact same thing, same effect. It's just John learned to do this and kind of taught himself that way. But it's sort of unique to him, whereas this is more universal. So we can do it the same way. It's the same effect and a lot easier to get to grips with as well. So we're starting with low E string. And because it's low, you might hear like a bit of a rattle. Most of the time when we do like a drop tuning, we need to raise the action a little bit just to counteract how beefy the string is and how much lower it is, blah, blah, blah. So you might hear a bit of rattle here and your guitar might rattle a little bit as well. So we're starting with E string, muted D, muted G, and then 8 on the B, then a slap. And then 10 on the G. Following this, hitting the open, we'll call it the C string, the open low string. And we're going then after the open to thumb on the 3rd fret. Now I've got thumb here and then 3, 3 on the D and G, 4 on the B. And it's that same E string, we'll call it C, C string, D, G, B, slap. Then pinky to the 5 of the D, followed by open C string, up to 6. So up to 6. One more time. So following, going up to the 6th then with our pinky, we're going 3rd finger. Here's a big chord shape. 3rd finger on the 5 on the C string, 6 on the D, 3 on the G, 4 on the B. So we got to get from here to here. So it could be well worth spending a bit of time just practicing the chord shapes. Nice and easy up here. Right? And then the same E, D, G, B, or C, D, G, B, slap. After the slap, going back to the G string, 3rd fret. Then an open C, open D. But they're really, it's almost like they're muted, they're ghost notes. So up to this point. And then this chord shape, which is the same as we had down here, that 2nd chord is like an E flat. So now it's 8 on the C, 8 on the D, 8 on the G, 9 on the B. And he does this fast roll with the fingers. And here's one of the benefits of doing it with this style rather than the way John does with it. It's a lot easier to do this roll. So you're just trying to really quickly, if you ever like plunk the piano like that, you're trying to do that. It's almost like they kind of fall off the string. So I'm going thumb, index, second, third, just really quick after each other. That can be quite tricky to get. So up to this point, it's like a triplet, followed by, this is almost the same shape as we had down here, but it's 10 on the C. There's a big stretch again. 10 on the C, 10 on the D, 7 on the G, 8 on the B. So the chord shapes, so this one's nice and easy. The first chord like a C minor harmony that we're outlining. And then this E flat thing, so E flat like kind of 6, 9. So that was 3, we're skipping the A all the time. 3, skip A, 3, 3, 4. And then 5, skip 6, 3, 4. And then 8, skip 8, 8, 9. 10, skip 8, 10, sorry, 10, skip 8, 7, 8. No, let me try that one again. 10, skip 10, 7, 8. So try going as chords like you would strum. That last one, really tricky. And you can always put little ghost notes in. You hear that cool rhythm. And the other really famous version of this is, of course, the live version, the acoustic, but he doesn't do it. He doesn't do that roll rhythm here. But on the studio track, he does that rolly triplet rhythm. So that's the riff, and that makes up the verse as well. So it's the opening riff and the verse. So anytime it's the verse section, he's doing that. See, it's pretty technical, but having the fingers dedicated to a string, D string on the index, G string on the second, B string on the third, it takes a lot of that work out, whereas if you're having to go from nothing to learning John's sort of strange, unique technique, it's a lot harder than I think it needs to be, realistically. And this is to say more of a universal. So if you've done any finger picking up to this point, this is going to transfer over much easier than learning John's strange technique just for this song anyway. So to say, that's the verse riff, okay? And then we go to the pre-chorus. And that's going to sound like this. Okay, now there's variations. Each pre-chorus is different. So we'll take you through each of the pre-choruses, what they do. It's all from that, but just different lengths of that, essentially. So the first pre-chorus is just these first 3 chords. So we have 8 on the E or the C, then skip the A, always skipping the A, 8, skip 8, 5, 6. That's the first chord, and then we're just going C and D string together, G, B, and then this third finger is going down to the 7 on the C string, the rest of it staying the same. So now we got 7 and 8 together, 5, 6. And then down to 6 on the C, 6 on the D, 3 on the G, 4 on the B. And it's always the same. Together, thumb and index together, then second and third. So the first pre-chorus is just that. say the first pre-chorus is just that, and then it goes back into the riff. Okay, then the second pre-chorus starts these chords again. So after down here, we're jumping back up to where we started. And then the second time, we're going to this chord. So this is thumb on the 5 of the C, skip the A, and then we've got 6, 5, 4 on the D, G, B. And we're just plucking all together. Then moving up 2 frets. And then to this is all 8th frets on the same strings, E, D, G, B. That's where the second pre-chorus ends. And then the third pre-chorus goes one step further, does all of that, and then at the end goes to this chord, only on the third pre-chorus. So this is 10 on the C, 10 on the D, 10 on the G. I'm doing that both with my index finger. And then I've got 11 on the B with my third finger, or second finger, up to you. I like third finger. So one more time, from the start, this is the first pre-chorus. And there's a slight difference as well, actually, before I jump into there, on where the pushes on the chords are. So on the first pre-chorus, basically the first time of these chords, we go on the beat, push, on the beat. Remember, that's where the first pre-chorus ends, straight back into the riff. Second pre-chorus then goes back here, on the beat, and then into this. And that's on, off, on. And then the third pre-chorus, instead of just ending there, we continue on, we'll go back here. 3, 4, and then we go into the chorus, okay? So there's the difference in the pre-chorus, a slight songwriting technique, just changing the amount of, or the length of bars of a section, or adding one chord on each time. So then we go into the chorus. That sounds like this. Right, so we have this same chord that's in the riff. That's 5, skip, 6, 3, 4. Plucking and slapping. Then moving this up 2 frets. And then to a C minor 7. Just your normal like C minor 7 bar shape. Bar on the 3rd fret, 5 on the D, 4 on the B. And you can do a hammer on if you want from the open bar. And then do the hammer on again. Around again. Third time. Third time we're jumping back all the way to this chord, which was in the third pre-chorus. So one more time, so it was 10, skip, 10, 10, 11. And then moving this down 2 frets. Doing pluck. Then a pluck, then a slap, then a pluck again. Okay, so the chorus then, that third time. And then back into the riff from there. So after the second chorus, that brings us to the bridge, which sounds like this. Okay, So we've got kind of two sections. We've got the little chord climb up, and then we've got that little funky section. So the chords that we're doing is just the same shape moving up the neck. So we have 5, skip, 6, 4, 6, 5, 4. So 5, skip, 6, 5, 4. Again, you notice we're only on these strings. We're not playing the low, or we're not playing the A or the high E string. So we've had this shape before. This was in the pre-chorus. Then up 2 frets, then up 1 fret, then up 2 frets. So starting on the thumb on the 5, then up 2, up 1, up 2. We're doing this 3 times. And the second time, we've got this little fill at the end. So pluck, slap, pluck. And I'm also doing a pluck and then letting go of the pressure, so it's a staccato. So that's 3 times, and then the third time, we do this slight variation. The same sort of thing that's in the riff, where we do like this kind of rake across the strings. Thumb, and then the fingers do the rake. So that chord section in total sounds like this, and I'm doing a pat after each chord. Then we go into that funky thing. So after this, holding this chord for the third time, we're going to try and put the little bass fill. So we're going open C, 10, open, and you can do a pull off, or you can pluck it, doesn't matter. And then 7, slide to 9, to 12, to open. So then the chord that we're doing this like funky slap thing on is just the C minor, so that's 10 on the D, 8, 8 on the G and B. So the kind of typical pattern he's doing is so there I'm plucking the D and G together, doing the slap, then the G and B together, and then I can do some like little pluck, slap, pluck. Then we've got that little fill. And a little bass fill, so again, he's gonna kind of improvise this, but on the track it's just. So it's kind of like a 4-part thing. So the first time is the bass fill. Then the second time is this little guitar fill. So here I'm going that same little groove. And then doing some plucks, right? Index, index, and then plucking the 8 on the G, the 11 on the B, and then sliding from 8 on the D and B to the 10 on both of those. I'm also going pluck, 8, 11, pluck, slides up to the 8 on the high E, the only instance of the high E string in the whole thing. Followed by the bass fill, and then just a little kind of pluck rhythm before we go back into a pre-chorus. So this whole funky section starts with the bass fill, then the fill, bass, and then a little pluck there. I'm just doing pluck, pluck with a staccato, slap, staccato pluck. And you can get pretty creative there. That's really open to interpretation. You can throw in whatever you want, fills-wise. He would do that thing where he'd play it differently every time. He wouldn't have played that when he was recording it the same way twice. So don't feel the need to. That's the thing he's doing. You can take inspiration from that and then do whatever you want with it, really. Maybe look at the live version, see the kind of stuff he does there as well. So that's all the sections of the song. And then we go through pre-chorus, chorus, riff, and to just a fade outro. And in that fade outro, he's just doing the same sort of thing he was doing in the bridge. This little funky thing on that C minor chord. And then there's one little interesting guitar part that you can hear. It's a separate guitar. I just thought it's a cool little thing, so I'll show you that at the very end. So he's going on the high E string, again, it's a separate guitar, 8, 10, 11, and then B string, 8, 10, and just looping it. And that's all the track. That's all the studio track. So hopefully, guys, that's been useful for you. Hopefully showing you that slightly easier way to do the riff. The fingers to using the riff also helps you out as well there. That's been it for me, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. See you for now.